All right, moving on now to one of the most difficult decisions every young woman must make. To be or not to be a gold digger. My next guest used to be a self-proclaimed raging feminist, but she has left that behind in pursuit of a new role as an SAHG, a stay-at-home girlfriend. Nia Chi's lifestyle might seem lavish, but it comes with some rules. She cannot get fat. She has to stay under 130 pounds. She has to cook her boyfriend every meal, spend a maximum of $20,000 on luxury shopping per month, and dress modestly. She says she'd rather be dripping in diamonds than women's rights, and she joins me now. I've been awaiting this discussion, Nia, and I want to just jump right into it. You used to be a feminist. You used to call yourself a raging feminist even, and then you discovered that life might be a little bit better as a stay-at-home girlfriend. Tell me what that lifestyle entails for inquiring minds and why you chose it over being a raging feminist.
Absolutely. So I used to be a bleeding heart liberal. And you know what's funny is I hated you in high school and college. I thought you were the worst.
Well, join the club.
I went to an all Christian school, so maybe it was just rebellion, right? And then it started with the fact that I was being ostracized by my fellow feminists. And it started with just jokes. I'd say, oh, I'd love to be a trophy wife. Oh, I hate working. And they'd look at me and be like, ew, you don't want to be a career woman? How could you be a feminist? If you love men and we hate men because we're misandrous, how could we like you? That's feminist math right there. So I didn't mean to be a stay-at-home girlfriend. I just met my boyfriend and it blossomed from there.
Right. Well, you're still obviously very young. So being a stay-at-home girlfriend, I mean, reading about it, you kind of qualify that as a job of sorts. We know that, stay-at-home motherhood, that's been somewhat of a job for pretty much the beginning of time. But being a stay-at-home girlfriend, how is that different than being a stay-at-home mom besides the fact that you don't have kids?
Oh, it's different in every way. I mean, stay-at-home moms have a job that's a million times harder than mine. But obviously, that is my ultimate goal, is to have 4 kids and live on a farm and make sourdough bread every day, But stay-at-home girlfriend is kind of the leading up to it. My boyfriend would not have me struggle, per se, until I'm a housewife. He wants to start the lifestyle exactly where we are. He's setting the standard.
So I have to ask you, though, I mean, this is still your boyfriend, not yet your fiance or husband. So do you have some concerns that you're going to spend time with this man who is, obviously supporting you now? But what if things go south? What if they go awry? What's the backup plan, or do you have one?
That's a really good point, and something that I think is really important for young women to remember when they're watching my videos. It goes with any career. You need to do your research before you take any life decision. So I'm definitely not telling young women that they should just jump ship, quit their jobs, and be with a man. I have some comments that are like, I quit my job, I'm going to go find a rich man. I'm like, it doesn't really work like that. For me, I was a career woman, which people laugh at. They're like, you're 22. You weren't a career woman for long. But I got my master's degree, and I was very well off and comfortable in my career before I met him. And then all of the allowance that he gives me, it's in my own separate bank account. Since I don't spend any money, I have a very nice savings account to fall back on. So it's the least of my worries of if I'll be homeless after we break up.
Well, you're a content creator, and there's a lot of folks out there that consider content creation to be a job. So I don't necessarily, disagree with that notion that you actually do have a job of sorts, because you're putting content out there and you can monetize that content. But, I'm also wondering, you said that you obviously well-educated, you had a job, you're doing well at that job. Is there a part of you that when you're at home cooking or cleaning or whatever it is that you do to fill your days beyond shopping, are there ever days where you're like, damn, I wish I had my job. I wish I could go out there and use my degree. Do you ever get bored?
I love that question, because when you have all the free time in the world, you can do absolutely anything you want. So really, there's nothing stopping me from doing something else if I wanted to get a job or start a career. Like I've said before, one of my biggest goals is to start a nonprofit. I have a soft spot for the homeless, like the Skid Row specifically. And you could do anything. You don't have to sit at home if you don't want to. He's not tying me here,
Right. So You have to tell me about this arrangement. Was it your idea or was it your boyfriend's idea? Did he say, listen, I don't want you to work. I want you to stay home. I want to give you an allowance and have you live the good life? Or was that something that maybe you suggested?
No, it was 100% him, and I wasn't even aware that this lifestyle existed before I met him either, but how do you say no to that?
Right. Well, there used to be a show on E called The Girls Next Door, and I think they kind of pioneered the lifestyle that you're living as far as being with somebody that has money and being able to do whatever they want all day long. So obviously the Playboy lifestyle has been around for a long time. And of course, the stay-at-home mom lifestyle, as we said, has been around really since the beginning of time. But I also wonder, do you worry at all about the power dynamic as far as your boyfriend making the money, giving you an allowance? Is there ever any point, and I'm sure you love him, I'm sure he's a great guy, but is there ever a point where you get frustrated or you feel like you don't have your independence or you feel like maybe it's a condescending situation that you've put yourself in?
Biologically, men are alpha males and women are more feminine. I think it's in their biology to lead. That being said, if you feel like you are with a man who is controlling and is abusing you in any way, get out of that situation. I would never choose a man, even if he's taking care of everything the way that mine is. I would never, at the end of the day, stay with a man who had a power dynamic over me that was terrorizing or abusing me.
Do you ever worry that because of the power dynamic and because of the lifestyle, obviously you're a beautiful young woman, sure you have nothing to worry about, but are you ever worried that your boyfriend's going to see something else running down the street and that he's going to make this girl a stay-at-home girlfriend or a stay-at-home wife? Does that ever cross your mind? I mean, it's got to.
Anything could happen, just like I could leave him for, a richer man, right? Anything could happen. I'm not naive to say that our relationship will last forever. I mean, relationships end every day. Most relationships end. Most marriages end. So who am I to say, oh my God, we're going to stay together forever?
Well, you're smart in that you have that bank account and you're piling up the money and earning interest on that bank account that you're getting. So, I respect the hustle. I want to talk about some of the rules, though, that I mentioned in the opening there. You can't get
Sure.
fat, and you have to cook meals. So tell me about the getting fat part. Do you have to weigh yourself on a daily or weekly basis, or is that just kind of a rough guideline?
No, that's completely satire. As funny as I think it is, when we met, I think I was a little bit bigger than that. He really doesn't care about those types of things. We don't care about weight. Cooking, however, I love cooking. He does not require me to every single day, though. I think we ordered out the last 2 days, actually. But I do enjoy cooking, and I think acts of service is really important to offer to your partner. So I totally enjoy that. And I do think, as far as the fat goes, that there is a little bit of truth to that. You should still care about how you look and how you present yourself to your partner.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's just in general for relationships, that's an important part of it as well. You said you used to be a feminist, used to be a liberal, you used to hate me, I'm sure for many different reasons. Your feminist friends probably didn't like me for, a variety of reasons. But I will say this, what I find interesting, and I talk about this on my show all the time, is how feminism has changed from its origins. Because you mentioned that some of your feminist or liberal friends, they just simply hated men. But then they also call themselves feminists, but they hated me, somebody who is a successful young female. So did you ever point that out to them as you were leaving kind of the confines of what they described as feminism?
Well, I pointed it out to them as far as my own personal experience because you're hating on me because my lifestyle depends on a man, or just because I simply love being in a relationship. Admitting that is apparently anti feminist. And then after a while, I just decided I agree with the basic idea of feminism. Okay. But this radical feminism, where I am not allowed to have that choice anymore and that I am ostracized if I'm not a career woman, I can't identify with a community like that anymore.
Right. Well, feminism and liberalism, as at least American liberalism, they go hand in hand. So I'm wondering, do you still have friends that consider themselves feminists or worse than that, liberals?
Most of them, I used to live in Florida, which is a super, red state, and I moved out west, which is super liberal. And most of my friends are extremely liberal. So, yeah.
So I'm wondering if you guys have any discussions as far as feminism goes, talking about one of the current issues that we have going on as a society, and that's men, biological men, competing against women in women's sports. You got to tell me how your West Coast liberal feminist friends, how they justify that one to you.
I'm not sure I have asked them about it. I think I'm too scared to. Some of those deep issues are best left at the surface if I want to stay friends. But I watched one of your videos before I came on just to refresh myself on your politics. And no comment.
Gotcha. So I have to ask you, you said you used to consider yourself a feminist and a liberal. We've got an election coming up. Is there anybody that you're eyeing? Are you a Joe Biden fan, or maybe a Donald Trump fan, somewhere in the middle? What are your thoughts on that? I have to know.
My politics changed really quickly. I voted for Biden in 2020, and I will be voting for Trump in 2024.
Well, hey, listen, it sounds like you're learning a lot, and I can't knock the lifestyle. I can't knock the hustle. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing it, and having obviously such a good humor about it. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you don't hate me anymore. That's always a win. And I'm glad to hear that your politics have changed, and you got a good head on your shoulders. So keep doing you. God bless you, and thanks for taking the time.
God bless you. Thank you for having me.